So it appears my last top 5 best enlisted weapons video is outdated, because, well, let's just say the Japanese, the Americans, and new weapons, or should I say, their old weapons got changed around a little bit. And therefore today, I'm gonna be doing another video about the top 5 best weapons about enlisted, in which you should definitely grind these weapons, because, well, if you don't, they're gonna change again, and they're not gonna be OP anymore. So grind them out, have fun with them, and whatnot. With that said, let's get started with today's video. This video has been made possible for the friends at Discord because we had an entire conversation about this. The Discord, if you haven't liked, subscribe, or joined the Discord, once again, join the Discord. With that said, let's get started. Starting with the T20, this is the recently added American semi-automatic rifle, which is essentially a full auto rifle. This was the precursor to the M14, which was used in, well, still used in everywhere. But that said, this rifle has high damage. As a matter of fact, I think higher damage than most of the weapons on this list. It has easy to manage recoil, but it also has one of the highest recoils in game, with about 87 recoil at 3 stars. Of course, biggest caveat is 20 round magazine, and you don't have a lot of ammo besides the 20 round magazine, so that's gonna be a massive bummer. The sights are from the M1 Grand, and although this gun, which is one of the guns I do like, the M1 Grand sights I personally prefer not to have, especially with all the other sights that I have. But it also does have a bayonet, which is also really good, because the bayonet also reduces recoil, which is good, so that's that. It also comes in semi-auto and full auto. But that said, let's move on to the next one. At number 4, we have the FG42-2. This has been up there and has been on all my top 5 lists ever since. But this weapon is high damage, can be used in auto and semi-auto, and has good sights. Mostly the notable thing about the FG42-2 and the T20 is that it also has 20 rounds. The massive difference is that the FG42 is much more controllable, whereas the T20 has 80 something vertical recoil. This only has 52 vertical recoil, so that's a massive buff. Also, it doesn't come with a bayonet, but at this point, you will not be using a bayonet. Especially if you're fighting in close quarters combat. This thing is like a very fast firing weapon, so that's a good side. That said, let's move on to the third spot, which is the Fedorov. For one, the Fedorov is labeled as an assault rifle, which is clearly what it is. For one, it has high damage. As a matter of fact, I will say it's one of the highest firing assault rifles that you have with 10.5. That said, the recoil is relatively manageable at 62, although if you're playing console, I really feel sorry for you guys because your recoil is not manageable. The sights are something requiring to get used to, but the biggest issue that I have with this is that it has 25 rounds. It's not that bad of an issue, but it's certainly more than the FG42-2, and it's more than the T20, but it's less than the STG-44. That said, this thing has more damage than the STG-44, and I honestly like this thing because it can just mow down people, especially at close ranges, so that's a buff. That said, speaking about the STG-44, let's move on to the STG-44. This weapon, coming at number 2, is a German assault rifle. As a matter of fact, one of the first assault rifles in history. It has a hit power of 8 at 3 stars, but it could easily be upgraded to 9.6 at 6 stars, so that's that. It has 30 rounds, which is also a good aspect because these 30 rounds are really good. On the other hand, the vertical and horizontal recoil is very low. Vertical at 39. The recoil is fully manageable, and there's practically no recoil when you fully upgrade this. And the sights are really good. Honestly, this is like a ray gun. Usually when people use the Fedorov, they use it at close range. When I use the STG-44, I use it at all ranges, because it is just that good. That said, let's move on to the number 1 spot, and the number 1 spot has to be the newest TypeHe automatic rifle. So think of the STG-44, think of the T20, think of the FG42-2, and think of the Fedorov. Now put them all into one gun, and that is the TypeHe automatic rifle. This literally has a bayonet, a bipod, a hit power of 11.6, 30 round magazine, recoil that is relatively controllable at 60. Of course, it is not the STG-44, but once again, I digress. It is one of the best rifles in game. As a matter of fact, screw it, I'll say this is the best rifle that you will have in game. The sights are really good. I really like the sights. The only issue is that once you run out of bullets, the it comes up into your face, but that's an okay issue, telling you to reload. But that said, this is one of the best rifles you have in game. Really highly suggest that you use it. Really highly suggest that you upgrade it. And if you ask me, one of the best weapons in game. That said, that is all it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one.